Hey Colts, this is Mrs. Hladun, and I hope you're having a great day. Today is Thursday, and I'm going to read a story to you called Malala's Magic Pencil. And this book was written by a girl named Malala Yousafzai, and she is a real person who lived actually right now, and this story was written not that long ago, and it's about some of her personal experiences in the land where she's from. And Malala is really an exceptional person, in part because she won a Nobel Peace Prize at a young age, which is pretty unusual. So let's jump into her story and learn a little bit more about who she is and what she has experienced. Okay. Do you believe in magic? When I was younger, I used to watch a TV show about a boy who had a magic pencil. If he was hungry, he drew a bowl of curry and it appeared. If he and his friends were in danger, he drew a police officer. The boy was a little hero, always protecting people who needed help. How I wanted a magic pencil too. And I would use it to make other people happy. I would draw the most beautiful dresses in the world for my mother, the best buildings in the valley for my father, so he could open many schools where children would study for free. A proper ball so my brothers and I no longer had to play with an old sock stuffed with rubbish. One day I was throwing away potato peels and eggshells at the dump. I was wrinkling my nose, swatting away flies, and making sure I didn't step on anything dirty in my nice shoes when I saw a girl about my age sorting trash into piles. Nearby, boys were fishing for metal scraps using magnets on strings. When my father returned home from work, I told him what I'd seen. It made him sad. "Abba," I said. "Yes, Johnny," he said back. I'd always liked it when he called me dear one. "Why haven't I seen that girl in my class?" "Because," he said, but he didn't finish right away. "Because, Johnny, in our country, not everyone sends their daughters to school, and some children must work to support their family. Those boys will sell the metal scraps they find. If they all went to school, their families would go hungry." School was my favorite place, but I never had considered myself lucky to be able to go. My father had always said, "Malala will live free as a bird." Now I wondered how free I'd truly be. That night I thought about families who didn't have enough food, and the girl who couldn't go to school. And even about how when I was older, I would be expected to cook and clean for my brothers, because where I came from, many girls weren't allowed to become what they dreamed of. I knew that if I had the magic pencil, I would use it to draw a better world, a peaceful world. First, I would erase war and poverty and hunger, and then I would draw girls and boys together as equals. Over the next few years, instead of wishing for a magic pencil every night, I worked hard in school every day. I wanted to be one of the top students in my class. But soon, powerful and dangerous men declared that girls were forbidden from attending school. They walked the streets of our city now, and they carried weapons. One by one, girls stopped coming to school. "Abba, where are all the students? They don't feel safe here anymore, Johnny." How could a few men stop all the girls in our valley from going to school? If more people knew what was happening to us, I thought, they might help. Wishing wasn't enough. Someone needed to speak out. Why not me? I wrote about what it felt to be scared to walk to school and how some of my friends had moved away because of the threat they faced in our city. I wrote about how much I loved school and how proud I was of my uniform. Once I started writing, I didn't stop. I wrote speeches and traveled about my country, sharing my story. I even talked to a reporter from a famous international newspaper. People actually wanted to learn about my life. I spoke for all the girls in my valley who couldn't speak for themselves. My voice became so powerful that the dangerous men tried to silence me, but they failed. And now my voice is louder than ever. Louder because people have joined me, and together we make a chorus, standing up for what we believe. We raise our voices for those in need. Help people in danger, even if they're an ocean away, and think of the world as a family. Do you still believe in magic? I do. I wrote alone in my room, but people all over the world were reading my story. Millions now know and are helping me spread my message of hope. I had at last found the magic I was looking for in my words and in my work. I am Malala. I always wished I could make the world a more peaceful place, and every day I work to make my wish come true. One child, one teacher, one book, and one pen can change the world. The end. All right, so this is a really interesting story, and I wonder if you thought it was interesting and different, the world that Malala lives in compared to the world that we live in America. And if you thought that maybe Malala lived in a different country, you are totally right. So I'm going to zoom in on some of these pictures. So this is a picture of Malala as a young child, and this is a picture of her with her school trophies. And this is a picture of her with her family in Birmingham, England. So this is a little story about Malala. So I'm going to read this to you. This is like actually her life story rather than the story she wrote for this book. So Malala Yousafzai first came to public attention by writing for BBC Urdu about life under the Taliban using the pen name Gul Makai. The Taliban had forbidden girls in her region from going to school. Soon she began to speak publicly about girls' education in her community. In October 2012, Malala was targeted by the Taliban and attacked as she was returning home from school. She miraculously survived. Malala and her family now live in Birmingham, England, and she travels the world speaking about the importance of education for all. In 2013, she started the Malala Fund, which has since opened schools for girls in Pakistan, as well as Lebanon and Jordan for Syrian refugees. Of the 130 million girls who are out of school, many are refugees. In recognition of her courage and advocacy, Malala was honored with the National Youth Peace Prize in Pakistan in 2011 and won both the International Children's Peace Prize and the Amnesty International Ambassador of Conscience Award in 2013. In 2014, she became the youngest ever recipient of the Nobel Peace Prize, shared with the Indian children's activist Kailash Satyarthi. In 2017, Malala became the youngest ever UN Messenger of Peace with a special focus on girls' education. So Malala is a really special young woman because she had an education and she valued her education. Her dad, in fact, was a teacher and ran a school. And when the people, there were people who were not nice people who said that girls couldn't get an education, she stood up and said that she didn't think that was right. And she has spent the rest of her life, her young life still, advocating for people that all girls should be able to get an education. And that's a pretty powerful thing. And I think that right now, when we're in this time where we can't go to school, I think all of us probably appreciate school more than we ever have before. Even if sometimes we don't like being at school or we find it frustrating or difficult, it's still a safe place to be and a place where we can grow and learn. And Malala knew that, and she knew how important that was, and she wanted to advocate that all girls could have that opportunity. So I think she's a pretty inspiring young woman. So I wonder, here we go. She, I don't know how old she is. I want to say she's in her 20s now, so she's not very old. This is actually a picture of her right now. And she was only 11 when she began writing for the BBC. and then she was attacked in 2012, but then has become the Nobel Peace Prize winner shortly thereafter. So she really believes strongly in women's and girls' education, and she fought really hard for what she wanted. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed this story, and that you find some inspiration in her journey, and that you find a renewed reason to do your best in your studies so you can have all the opportunities afforded to you. All right, friends, take care, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.